yanked the entire urinal out of the wall.
Is he retarded? A little?
I don't know, but that was scary.
Oh.
Randy Orton didn't just play a villain on WWE television. Behind the curtain, the Legend Killer's real-life chaos left wrestlers terrified. From Court Bauer's detailed account of Randy's sexual assault to endangering Maria Kanellis' life with reckless stunts, here are 7 of the most shocking true stories from Randy Orton's monstrous behaviors. Maria Kanellis. Picture this. You're driving down a dark highway after a grueling WWE show, exhausted in the back seat with your colleagues. Suddenly, flaming projectiles start exploding against your car windows. This wasn't a scene from an action movie. It was Maria Kanellis' terrifying reality, courtesy of Randy Orton. The incident occurred during the mid-2000s, when Maria was fresh from the 2004 Diva search and navigating WWE's notoriously harsh backstage culture. Maria shared this harrowing experience during her 2010 appearance on Kayfabe Commentary's You Shoot series, revealing how Orton's prank nearly turned deadly.
There was a time where in the car with Umaga and Carlito, and we're in the car, and all of a sudden Randy decides to start shooting fireworks at us. And let me just say, that was one of the scariest moments of my life, because I thought for sure something's gonna happen. There's gonna be a little thing of gas somewhere.
Maria was traveling with Umaga, Eddie Fatu, and Carlito, Carlos Colon Jr., between WWE shows, a routine part of wrestling life during the Ruthless Aggression era. Road trips were common bonding experiences, but what happened next transformed an ordinary commute into a nightmare scenario. Orton, possibly from a separate vehicle racing alongside on the highway, began firing Roman candles, fireworks that shoot flaming balls, directly at their car. The projectiles struck the vehicle repeatedly as it traveled at highway speeds, creating genuine danger far beyond typical wrestling pranks.
The whole freaking car was gonna blow up like out of a movie or something. I was scared.
He was really lighting off fireworks in the car.
Not in the
Driving.
car, at the car.
Oh.
Maria feared the impacts could ignite fuel or cause a gas leak, potentially causing the vehicle to explode like in a movie. The terror was genuine. One spark in the wrong place, one panicked driver reaction, and the consequences could have been catastrophic. This wasn't a backstage pie in the face. This was reckless endangerment at 60 miles per hour. What makes this incident even more disturbing is the context of Maria's relationship with Orton at the time. She had already endured his verbal abuse during her early WWE days, adopting a strategy of agreement. Okay, Randy, you're right. Okay, Randy, you're right. Until he grew bored and moved on to other targets. The fireworks attack represented an escalation from psychological harassment to genuine physical danger. Fortunately, no one was injured, and the group escaped unharmed, but the psychological impact lasted much longer. This incident occurred during a period when Orton was struggling with substance abuse and attitude issues, including a 2006 overdose and wellness policy violations. His behavior contributed to attendance at anger management classes, where he claimed to have nipped that part of me in the bud. The story has been recirculated in various wrestling outlets over the years, with a 2017 The Richest article labeling it reckless endangerment and noting how Orton nearly killed Maria Kanellis, Carlito, and Umaga during what he apparently thought was a silly prank. Neither Carlito nor Umaga ever publicly commented on the incident. Umaga passed away in 2009, and Carlito's sporadic WWE returns left no record of addressing it. Orton himself has never directly responded to Maria's account, though he has broadly acknowledged his youthful immaturity in various interviews over the years. Cody Rhodes. Imagine walking past a hotel bathroom and witnessing someone demonstrating what can only be described as superhuman strength by ripping a porcelain urinal clean off the wall. For Cody Rhodes, this wasn't imagination. It was his shocking first introduction to Randy Orton. The incident occurred during a WWE tour in Cape Town, South Africa, likely in the mid-2000s, when Rhodes was a wide-eyed rookie fresh from developmental territory. The venue was the Nelson Mandela Hotel, also referred to as the TV Hotel for the tour, a detail that would become grimly ironic given the destruction about to unfold.
Very first time I met Randy, we were in Cape Town, South Africa, and I walked by the men's bathroom, and he had his hands around the urinal, and he goes, "Hey, Code, look at this.
Rhodes was simply walking past the bathroom when Orton called out to him, "Hey, Code, look at this!" Or, "Hey, check this out, Code Man." What happened next defied belief in hotel plumbing standards everywhere.
And he yanked the entire urinal out of the wall. I like a superhuman strength, plaster ripping off the thing, flood just sweeping out into the lobby, and he giggled.
The fixture came away from the wall completely, breaking plaster, exposing piping, and causing water to flood dramatically into the hotel lobby or bottom level. Orton reportedly giggled throughout the chaos, turning wanton property destruction into some bizarre form of entertainment. For Rhodes, barely beginning his main roster career, the moment was overwhelming, but the story doesn't end with the flooding. The following day, WWE held a talent meeting to address the significant property damage. Management, aware that security cameras had captured footage, demanded to know the culprit's identity.
Had this big talent meeting the next day. Hey, there were security cameras, guys. We want to know who did it. He walked up in front of everybody, said, "Hey, I want to know who did it." Hey, this guy is nuts. But that one shocks me. So I'm going to try and set some traps.
Orton stood up and feigned indignation, demanding answers while knowing full well he was responsible, a hypocritical performance that shocked Rhodes. Even further, this audacious gaslighting became a fan-favorite punchline in subsequent retellings of the story. The consequences? WWE was reportedly banned from the hotel. As Rhodes stated years later, "We're not welcome back at that hotel anymore." Yet no formal disciplinary action against Orton is documented, aligning with his later confirmation that he didn't get in trouble, and the group left South Africa before proper identification could occur. Rhodes first publicly shared this anecdote during a press conference after his surprise return at WrestleMania 38 in April 2022, using it to illustrate Orton's transformation from troublemaker to family man. He retold it in a YouTube short that went viral, with viewers captivated by his comedic delivery and obvious disbelief even years later. In December 2024, Rhodes revisited the story on Jazzy's World TV, pairing it with another Orton prank where he tricked Rhodes into sticking his freshly stitched forehead out a car window, causing the stitches to pop and blood to pour down his face. Another dangerous joke that could have resulted in serious complications. Orton himself confirmed the core details in May 2024 on the same podcast, stating, "The story is true, but Cody Rhodes has been known to exaggerate his stories in the past. So I don't remember everything about the situation, but there was a bit of flooding, and I did rip a urinal off of the wall, yes." However, Orton downplayed the feat, noting the urinal was kinda half hanging off of the wall anyway, requiring less strength than Rhodes's dramatic retelling suggested. Still, the admission confirmed the essential truth. Randy Orton destroyed hotel property, caused significant flooding, lied to management's faces, and faced zero consequences. Court Bauer. The most disturbing allegations about Randy Orton's backstage behavior don't involve property destruction or dangerous pranks. They involve alleged sexual harassment that former WWE creative writer Court Bauer described as a recurring initiation ritual. Bauer, who worked on WWE's creative team from 2005-2007 and later founded Major League Wrestling, first shared this disturbing account on episode 49 of the MLW Radio podcast in 2012. However, the story gained explosive attention in August 2018 when it resurfaced on Reddit amid the near Me Too movement's intensified scrutiny of entertainment industry misconduct. According to Bauer's detailed account, Orton had a pattern of welcoming new, creative writers in a deeply inappropriate manner. The alleged ritual went like this. Orton would approach new writers in the creative room, pull out his penis from his pants, touch himself, and then extend his hand for a shake while delivering a promo-like rant. Bauer's full quote, as transcribed by multiple wrestling media outlets, painted a disturbing picture. For every new writer that would show up, he comes in the room, puts his hand down his pants, pulls out his DK, touches himself, then says, "I'm Randy Orton, shake my hand." "Oh, you don't want to shake my hand? You're big leaguing me? That's Ket up, man. Should I tell Vince and Steph you won't shake Randy Orton's hand?" Bauer elaborated that the writers would start sweating and backing up into the corner, with Orton's penis still exposed as he continued cutting a promo for approximately 5 minutes. The intensity made it unclear whether Orton was joking or genuinely angry, adding psychological intimidation to the physical harassment. Bauer shared a personal anecdote. On his first day, Orton began the ritual, but quickly stopped when Stephanie McMahon entered the room. tucking himself away as if a teacher entering the classroom. When asked if he would have shaken Orton's hand, Bauer, describing himself as a germaphobe, replied uncertainly, "I don't know. I'm a bit of a germaphobe." Bauer expressed surprise that Orton hadn't faced sexual harassment claims earlier, noting the act's clear potential for legal implications. He claimed this was recurring behavior throughout his WWE tenure, occurring for every new writer. When the story exploded across Reddit in August 2018, Bauer confirmed its veracity on Twitter, now X, when directly asked, responding simply, "Yes." This confirmation led to widespread media coverage by outlets including The Wrap, Bleacher Report, Newsweek, and Fox News, framing it as a potential major harassment scandal. WWE responded swiftly, issuing a statement on August 13, 2018. "We are looking into the matter." A spokesperson confirmed an internal investigation into the old allegations of sexual impropriety. Orton's representatives were contacted but did not respond. Despite the investigation, Orton appeared on SmackDown Live days later, feuding with Jeff Hardy, showing no immediate impact on his professional status. Reports from What Culture and YouTube channels indicated Orton laughed off the claims during house shows that week, joking with staff about the allegations. Behavior that either demonstrated genuine innocence or troubling dismissiveness, depending on perspective. Brian Kendrick and Paul London. Some of Randy Orton's most outrageous stories never actually happened, but the fact that he enthusiastically tried to make them happen reveals just how unhinged his thinking was during WWE's ruthless aggression era. Enter the infamous attempted pee prank on John Cena and WWE executives. This bizarre incident was recounted by former tag team partners Brian Kendrick and Paul London during their 2010 RF video shoot interview titled "Brian Kendrick and Paul London's Excellent Adventure." The candid discussion covered various WWE experiences, including their interactions with stars like Orton, whom they described as hilarious to hang out with, while also implying his antics could be dangerously over the top. According to Kendrick and London, the event unfolded during a WWE tour in the mid-2000s, likely 2004-2005, when John Cena was transitioning from mid-card rapper to company face, spending considerable time with executives for grooming and mentorship. Picture the scene. The group, including Orton, Kendrick, London, and other wrestlers, was gathered in a hotel room when Orton spotted Cena dining with WWE executives on a patio below their balcony. Rather than simply mocking them from above or planning a harmless prank, Orton's brain conceived something far more outrageous, urinating on them from the balcony. According to the recounting, Orton attempted to rally the entire room to participate in this group bathroom assault, presumably envisioning some kind of coordinated golden shower raining down on WWE's future top star and company leadership. The sheer audacity of even suggesting such a thing, targeting not just a fellow wrestler but corporate executives, demonstrates either remarkable courage or remarkable stupidity, depending on your perspective. Kendrick and London recounted refusing immediately, stating something to the effect of, "Are you nuts? We're going to get fired," and noted that no one participated except Orton's enthusiastic encouragement. Faced with universal resistance from wrestlers who actually valued their employment, the prank fizzled out without execution, avoiding what would have certainly been catastrophic professional consequences. The timeline aligns perfectly with Cena's ascent. He won his first WWE Championship at WrestleMania 21 in April 2005, following an extended build-up period where he frequently mingled with management for strategic discussions. Orton, fresh from Evolution and his own championship reign, was known for clashing with Cena both in storylines and through real-life competitive dynamics, adding plausibility to him targeting Cena for humiliation. What makes this story particularly revealing is how it illustrates Orton's complete disregard for consequences during this period. This wasn't targeting a rookie diva who lacked political power. This was proposing to literally urinate on the person WWE was building their entire company around, plus the executives making those decisions. The fact that Orton genuinely tried to convince others to participate suggests he either felt completely untouchable due to his family legacy or simply didn't think beyond immediate chaos. The story fits a broader pattern of Orton's impulsive decision-making during this era, including the aforementioned fireworks attack and various property destruction incidents. Kendrick and London mentioned other Orton stories in their interviews, like a Mexico incident where Orton, London, and Kendrick fled federales after a dynamite prank, showcasing his pattern of escalating pranks to genuinely dangerous or illegal territory. John Cena, known for his professionalism, reportedly no-sold pranks during this era, ignoring them completely to avoid encouraging further attempts. No accounts suggest Cena was ever were aware of this attempted prank, which probably saved everyone involved from serious repercussions. Had it actually been executed, it's hard to imagine even Randy Orton's family connections protecting him from termination. Amy Weber and Rochelle Lowen. While many of Randy Orton's pranks targeted fellow male wrestlers who could presumably defend themselves, some of his most troubling behavior was directed at vulnerable newcomers, the 2004 WWE Diva Search contestants. These women, often models without wrestling backgrounds, faced resentment from veterans who viewed them as fame seekers, and Orton reportedly made their lives miserable through targeted harassment. Amy Weber, who placed fourth in the 2004 Diva Search and appeared on SmackDown as JBL's image consultant from late 2004 to early 2005, experienced bullying that ultimately drove her from WWE entirely. The primary incident occurred in February 2005 during a grueling tour spanning Hawaii, Japan, and Alaska over 10 days. Weber was injured training with Joy Giovanni for a potential match. Giovanni kicked her stomach too hard, causing a tailbone injury that was possibly cracked, though Weber could still walk. The trainer advised ibuprofen and ice from the men's locker room, a decision that would somehow become a justification for harassment. On the flight from Japan to Alaska, Weber lay across seats to rest her injured back. Randy Orton allegedly approached from behind, slamming her chair like a linebacker, causing her to fall, and said, "You're gonna learn, Butch." Weber didn't understand what she was supposed to learn, or what offense she'd supposedly committed. Later during the same flight, Weber awoke to a drink being poured on her face. Confronting Edge, who was holding a matching partially drunk cup, she asked, "Do you have a problem with me?" and challenged him to be a man and fight. Edge denied responsibility. In her 2020 YouTube video, Amy Weber outs Edge and Randy Orton as bullies. Weber stated, "The end of the day, did I deserve it because I took 2 ibuprofen that the trainer told me to take and some ice from the guy's locker room? I don't think so. As a decent human being, you just don't do that to people." Upon landing, Weber informed Shane McMahon she couldn't continue in a disrespectful environment and quit. Her last WWE appearance involved shooting JBL with a tranquilizer gun, leading to an on-screen firing. Weber has called Orton a dirtbag in past interviews, emphasizing the frat house atmosphere and inadequate pay as contributing factors, but identifying bullying as the final straw. Rochelle Lowen, another Diva Search contestant who had a brief WWE stint from November 2004 to February 2005, experienced similar targeted harassment from Orton. In a 2005 Voice of Wrestling interview, Lowen described Orton vandalizing her bag on her first day after a conversation where she asked if he was Canadian, a question that apparently upset him. Orton allegedly soaked her clothes in self-tanning lotion and baby oil, ruining expensive items. Rumors circulated that Orton had defecated in her bag. Allegations Lowen specifically debunked, stating, "It was just merely self-tanning lotion and baby oil, but I wouldn't put it past him to shit in my bag." Lowen linked the harassment to Orton hating her, possibly after she rejected his advances or due to her friendship with Triple H. This contributed significantly to her departure in February 2005. Veteran wrestler Val Venis confirmed the story in a 2022 podcast, noting Orton's actions essentially drove Lowen out of WWE. The impact extended beyond direct victims. Joy Giovanni, Weber's friend, revealed in a 2023 interview that she considered quitting after witnessing the plane bullying. She described Weber as targeted by what would later become the Rated RKO team. Orton and Edge's tag partnership formed in 2006, emphasizing the emotional toll and potential ripple effects on other contestants who witnessed or feared similar treatment. Orton reportedly developed a reputation for targeting multiple divas with pranks like handbag vandalism, creating a hostile environment that contributed to several early departures from WWE. These incidents occurred during Orton's mid-20s period of substance abuse and entitlement, fueled by his rapid rise and third-generation legacy, creating an inflated sense of untouchability. Neither Orton nor Edge have publicly addressed these specific allegations, and no WWE investigations or disciplinary actions are documented for these claims. The stories persist as reminders of how WWE's ribbing culture in the 2000s sometimes crossed into genuine harassment, particularly targeting women who lacked the political capital or physical ability to retaliate effectively. Cowboy Bob Orton and The Undertaker. The most dangerous incident involving a member of the Orton family didn't involve Randy directly, but it featured his father, WWE Hall of Famer cowboy Bob Orton, potentially exposing The Undertaker to a blood-borne disease during one of WWE's most brutal matches. The incident occurred at WWE Armageddon on December 18, 2005, during a Hell in a Cell match between Randy Orton and The Undertaker at the Toyota Center in Houston. This match served as the violent climax to a months-long feud where Randy, as the Legend Killer, targeted The Undertaker with his father Bob's assistance. 30-minute bout was promoted as ultra-violent, and it delivered. Randy and Taker bladed early to produce dramatic bloodshed, bodies, and throughout the Hell in a Cell structure. Here's where the story becomes genuinely terrifying. Bob Orton had been diagnosed with hepatitis C as a teenager, approximately 35 years before this match. Hepatitis C is a blood-borne virus that attacks the liver and can be transmitted through blood contact, making it an extreme risk in professional wrestling where bleeding and blood mixing are occupational hazards. According to multiple reports, John Laurinaitis, WWE's then head of talent relations, knew about Bob's condition but instructed him to proceed with the blade job anyway, apparently prioritizing the match's dramatic elements over legitimate health risks. Doctors had reportedly assured Bob the virus was nothing to worry about, as he'd been asymptomatic for decades, but the decision to blade anyway exposed The Undertaker without his knowledge or consent. Post-match, a WWE doctor, described as The Undertaker's personal friend, tested Bob and informed Taker of the positive hepatitis C result. The Undertaker, who had rolled extensively in Bob's blood, tested negative but was reportedly absolutely furious, nearly leading to a backstage physical confrontation that required intervention. Reports vary on whether Taker actually attacked Bob or simply confronted him with murderous intent, but all accounts agree his rage was justified and intense. The Undertaker's anger extended beyond Bob to WWE management, particularly Laurinaitis, for approving such a reckless decision. Taker took time off television, returning at Royal Rumble 2006 in late January, and fortunately never contracted the virus, despite the extensive exposure. Bob Orton was fired from WWE in February 2006, officially due to this health violation, though some reports suggest backstage heat contributed. This firing derailed planned storylines for Randy Orton, including a potential Royal Rumble victory and world title reign at WrestleMania 22 with his father's involvement. Randy's push suffered, partly due to his own behavioral issues, but significantly compounded by this scandal surrounding his father. WWE officials reportedly confirmed that the company was no longer welcome at the hotel where the tour group stayed, adding property damage to the list of consequences from Orton family activities during this period. Randy Orton himself confirmed the story's authenticity during a 2024 interview, stating, "The story is true. There was a bit of flooding, and I did rip a urinal off of the wall, yes," though he downplayed the superhuman strength aspect Rhodes described, noting the urinal was kinda half hanging off of the wall anyway. The incident highlights WWE's historical priorities during the ruthless aggression era, dramatic bloodshed over performer safety. While blading was increasingly regulated due to concerns over HIV and hepatitis transmission, management's decision to approve Bob's blade job despite knowing his diagnosis represents a shocking lapse in judgment that could have resulted in The Undertaker contracting a chronic, potentially fatal disease. Bob Orton continued wrestling on independent circuits until 2023, with sporadic WWE cameos including appearances at Raw in 2010 and Money in the Bank in 2017, but never returned to a full-time role. Neither Bob nor The Undertaker has publicly discussed the incident in detail, possibly to avoid rekindling controversy or maintain professional relationships. Kevin Nash. Not all of Randy Orton's controversial backstage behavior involved destruction or harassment. Some of it was simply about living like a rock star and making veteran wrestlers jealous in the process. According to WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash, young Randy Orton and his best friend Mark Jindrak turned WWE road trips into their personal dating service, and it drove the locker room's old guys absolutely crazy. Nash shared this revealing story on his Click This podcast in May 2023, recounting his experience as the designated driver for Orton and Jindrak during their early WWE days around 2002-2004. As Nash observed from behind the wheel, the duo was getting ass everywhere, hooking up with women between shows and boldly bringing them directly into WWE arenas and locker rooms. Nash described the scene vividly. There would be like two hot smoking girls in the back sitting somewhere, and people would go like, "Who are they?" "They are with Jindrak and Orton." The women's attractiveness became a significant issue. Nash Nash clarified the source of backstage heat wasn't about disrespect to the wrestling business, but rather pure jealousy. It got so much heat on Randy and Jindrak from the old guys. It wasn't because it was disrespectful or anything. It was because it was such sweet. Nash added that Orton brought these women backstage without asking permission, which some veterans viewed as disrespecting the sacred space of the locker room, a traditionally male-dominated area where outsiders, especially attractive women, weren't typically welcome without clearance. However, Nash personally wasn't bothered by it, recognizing it as youthful exuberance rather than genuine misconduct. The timeline aligns with Orton and Jindrak's close friendship that began in Ohio Valley Wrestling, OVW, around 2000-2002, where they bonded over gym sessions and shared ambitions. By 2002-2003, as Orton debuted on the main roster and Jindrak transitioned from WCW's Natural Born Thrillers, their friendship deepened into traveling together and pursuing women with equal enthusiasm. This behavior had significant career implications, particularly for Jindrak. He was initially slated for the Evolution stable alongside Triple H, Ric Flair, and Orton, even filming promotional vignettes in suits. However, car rides meant for serious business discussions about wrestling strategy turned into what Jindrak later called immature hour, with Ric Flair asking about the girls they'd met while Triple H insisted on discussing hot tags and in-ring psychology. Jindrak later disputed WWE's Ruthless Aggression documentary portrayal, claiming only Triple H wanted him out, not Flair, who preferred talking young stuff like girls and clubs. However, he admitted their wildness justified the decision, calling himself and Orton jackoffs who goofed off too much, chasing girls. Jindrak was replaced by Batista in early 2003, as their antics cramped the style of the more serious group dynamic Evolution was meant to project. The heat from veterans stemmed from a combination of jealousy over the women's attractiveness and perceived unprofessionalism. In wrestling's locker room culture, bringing outsiders backstage without clearance could breach unwritten etiquette, especially in an era where traditional boundaries between wrestlers and civilians were more rigidly maintained. Nash's account specifically references old guys being upset, implying veterans who felt the younger generation was disrespecting sacred spaces. Jindrak echoed this reality in a 2022 interview with Chris Van Vliet, calling himself and Orton friends who had a brotherhood despite their separation and reflecting positively on their wild days together. He described their road trips as adventures where they would take their time between stops, delaying travel for fun diversions like Walmart runs for slush puppies, highlighting their immaturity extended beyond just chasing women. Jindrak viewed his removal from Evolution as a relief at the time given the pressure of expectations, and he went on to achieve tremendous success in Mexico as Marco Corleone after his WWE release in 2005. Meanwhile, Orton became a world champion shortly after their separation, suggesting the decision to split them benefited his career trajectory by removing distractions. No formal punishments are documented for the backstage women behavior, but the heat factored significantly into career decisions like Jindrak's Evolution exclusion. Triple H later explained the stable needed an enforcer-type presence that Batista provided, but the underlying reality was that Jindrak and Orton's party lifestyle clashed with Evolution's sophisticated presentation. Public reactions on Reddit and wrestling forums blend humor with analysis. In a 2022 Squared Circle thread discussing Jindrak's interview, users appreciated the contrast. Rick wanted to talk hot girls, Triple H wanted to talk hot tags, acknowledging Triple H's legendary work ethic while understanding why young wrestlers might resist constant wrestling discussions. Comments defended the decision. If the worst thing you can say about Trips is that he cares too much about his craft. While noting Jindrak's subsequent success, he was huge in Mexico. This story, while less destructive than Orton's other backstage antics, illustrates his early reputation as a ladies' man and his pattern of prioritizing partying over professionalism. It fits alongside other incidents involving immaturity and entitlement during his mid-20s period of substance abuse and rapid success, when his third-generation legacy and undeniable talent created an inflated sense of untouchability. Unlike the more severe allegations of harassment or endangerment, this episode represents the more benign side of young Randy's chaos, reckless and disrespectful perhaps, but ultimately harmless beyond bruised egos. Neither Orton nor Jindrak has denied the behavior, with Jindrak openly owning their wild reputation while crediting the separation for allowing both careers to flourish in different directions. Click on one of the cards on the screen to see more videos like this.